10 very weird writing tips that actually work. I'm sure you have heard all the usual writing advice over and over again. Things like show don't tell, use active voice, read more to write better, and so on and so on. And so today I wanted to give you something different. Now, these might be weird, but they do work, and they might even be better than a lot of the other writing advice that we hear all of the time. And even though they go against the conventional wisdom, these might be more effective for improving your writing. These weird tips will help you break through writer's block, spark fresh ideas, and just give your writing a major boost. The first one is to write in Comic Sans. Now, before you click away from this video right now, you did hear that correctly, and there is a very good reason for this. No, it's probably the most hated font on the internet, but here's the thing a lot of people don't know about Comic Sans. It's easy to read quickly, and because it looks so informal, it actually tricks your brain into being more relaxed while you draft. Why does this work? Well, Comic Sans has uneven letter spacing and, let's face it, a playful vibe, and that really helps to reduce the pressure to be perfect. And when you're not hyper-focused on making every single sentence perfect, then you free up your creativity and you just get words on the page, which is of course the ultimate goal. So how would you use this? Well, it's simple. Just switch your document font to Comic Sans, of course, only for drafting. Once you're done, please do switch it back to Times New Roman for the actual editing. But trust me on this one, no one has to know, and it will make your writing better. Next up is to write with a timer, but make it odd. Lots of writers set timers, but here's the twist. Pick an unusual amount of time. Pick 7 minutes and 33 seconds or 11 minutes and 11 seconds. Why does this work? Well, a weird timer can snap you out of routine, and there's something about odd numbers that tricks your brain into paying attention. There is science behind this. I haven't just pulled this out of nowhere. So when the timer starts, you'll feel an immediate urgency that's different from the standard 15-minute approach. And please comment down below when you use this, because I will love to hear the feedback. So what to do? Write continuously until the alarm goes off. No editing, no backspacing, just let the words flow. If you like it, then run another odd timer. And this randomness is going to keep your writing session fresh and fun. Third weird writing tip is to talk to a rubber duck. And no, I haven't completely lost my mind. I know this might sound silly. It will look silly, but let's call this the rubber duck debugging concept. It's something that applies to computer programming, and you can use it in your writing as well. How does this work? Well, you explain your writing problem out loud to a rubber duck, and this doesn't have to be a rubber duck. It could be any other object that you choose. It could be the chair, it could be the light, whatever you want. As you talk through your plot holes, your character inconsistencies, dialogue issues, what you'll find is that while you talk about it, you will arrive at a solution just after hearing your own explanation. This is so weirdly effective because when you vocalize an issue, it actually forces your brain to process it differently than just thinking silently or writing notes. Again, try this. You will be amazed at how the rubber duck trick works. Again, please comment down below when you use these. I'm really keen to hear the feedback on these. Tip number 4 is to go ahead and write the last scene first. A lot of conventional advice says start at the beginning, but if you're stuck, try jumping straight to the ending. And this works because when you know exactly where your story ends, it can help you reverse engineer how to get there. The same is true for anything in life. If you know the goal, well, then you can reverse engineer what you need to do to get there. And when you have this clear target to aim for, it makes drafting the middle sections so much easier, and it helps you focus on what you need to do to get to that end scene that you've set. So the best way to apply this is write that final scene in detail. So the dialogue, setting, emotions, resolutions, everything. Then outline backwards. What events need to happen to reach the conclusion? You might end up revising the ending later, so of course it doesn't have to stay the same, but what you'll have is a guiding light. It will be the light at the end of the tunnel that's going to pull you through the writing process, particularly when it gets difficult. If you're feeling stuck or bored, then switch up the medium. Go from typing on a laptop to writing by hand, or maybe even going for a walk and dictating into your phone. This is based on science. Why does this work? Well, each medium engages your brain in a different way. Writing by hand forces you to slow down and choose your words very carefully. Contrasted with this, dictation will make your writing sound a lot more natural and sound conversational. It will sound a lot like you. And that sudden shift can kickstart new ideas, bring fresh energy to your project, get you past an area where you had been blocked. So how do you do this practically? If you normally draft digitally, well then try a pivotal scene in a notebook. And then of course, type it up later. It's like a built-in second draft. Or if you feel really bored with your handwriting, well, record your thoughts verbally when you go on a walk. These days, there's lots of tools that will transcribe them for you. Tip number 7 is to pick one of your favorite authors and copy a page of their work by hand. Now, this might sound like cheating, but it's actually a very powerful technique for absorbing a style and rhythm. So when I say copy, I don't mean, of course, take that page and put it in your own book. We're simply saying copy the style. This actually follows, and the inspiration for this comes from a style of copywriting, which is a form of writing marketing copy called copywork. When trainee copywriters used to learn copywriting, they would go and copy the work of famous copywriters. And then they would pick up on the style, the flow, how they structured things. And it's still to this day one of the best ways to improve your writing. It works because by physically writing another author's words, you are immersing yourself in their pacing, the type of vocabulary they use, and how they structure their writing. So tips for success with this, of course, don't do it with an entire book. You just want to pick a page or a short scene, one that you really like and you think, wow, this is great. And then when you're done, reflect on it. What did you notice about their word choice, sentence flow, or their dialogue? And then apply those insights to your own writing in your own voice. Of course, never plagiarize. This next one is number 7, and it's to write a poem about your plot. Even if you're not a poet, which I am not at all, try condensing your story, the essence of your story, into a poem or a haiku. This works because poetry forces you to be concise and imaginative with your language. You have limited words to capture the heart and essence of your story, and it can reveal the emotional core theme of your novel in a way that a traditional outline can't, and it will remind you of what's at the core of your story. First of all, pick a style. It could be a haiku, a free verse, a sonnet, if you're feeling particularly ambitious. And then summarize your character's main struggle or potentially the central conflict into one of these poems. I guarantee this will help you gain new insights into your plot's emotional stakes and maybe even help you discover a fresh metaphor that you could weave into the prose. It's also, above all else, a very fun exercise. Tip number 8 is to go on a date. What I mean by this is an artist's date. This comes from Julia Cameron's The Artist Way. An artist date is a solo excursion which will fuel your creativity. This could be something like a museum, an art gallery, going to the park. But here's the weird twist. Go somewhere that you'd never normally go. Do try and get creative with this one. The strange yet exciting benefit of this is taking yourself off your usual path is going to stimulate your brain. You'll see different smells, sights, and sounds. Maybe visit an antique shop, or go to a garden center if you don't normally, or go to something exciting, maybe go climbing. Whatever it is, try and do something different. Best way to make this work is to go alone. Don't have any distractions, from friends or family. Take a notebook and just jot down things that you observe or dialogue that you overhear. Just how do you feel in this unfamiliar place? And just really let your mind wander and be curious. You just never know what inspiration is going to strike when you're not in your usual routine. And it might not happen there. It might happen on the way there or the way back, but it will have an impact. Tip number 9 is to rewrite a scene from another character's point of view. This works really well if you're stuck on a scene. What you want to do is try rewriting it from a different character's point of view, even if that character is not the main protagonist. This works because it forces you to understand every character's motivations, not just your heroes. We often view our manuscript from the hero's perspective, so it can be a great way to see what else is going on from a different point of view. And you may even discover hidden conflicts or details that you'd missed, or things you could use to make your story more interesting. And even if you switch back to your main protagonist's point of view, you'll have a richer understanding of how the scene plays out, how it plays out to other characters. Think of it like eavesdropping on your own story. Sometimes the very best revelations we have, they come from another viewpoint entirely. And number 10 is to write while standing up, or you could choose another unusual position if you like. Personally, writing while standing, pacing, or just sitting in a different environment is going to dramatically shift your energy level and your mindset. So again, as I've always said, let's talk about the science behind it. Well, standing up improves your blood flow, which helps you stay alert, helps you stay more focused. And some authors actually pace while dictating, which again is going to make your dialogue sound more natural. And of course, it helps keep the blood flowing so that your thinking is a lot clearer. Practical implementation of this is try a standing desk, or simply place your laptop on a higher counter. And if you're feeling really experimental, you could write a paragraph lying on your back with a notebook. It might help you relax if you're finding writing particularly stressful that day. I hope you've enjoyed these 10 weird writing tips. As you can see, of course, they are scientifically based and they will improve your writing. I would love to hear in the comments down below which you are going to try, which you have tried, and how you found them, if you enjoyed them. And of course, as always, YouTube will now be recommending another one of my writing videos for you to watch here. So go ahead and take a look at that one next.